Do you know how to loop a no-spin shot? Brush the top of the ball. Brush the upper part. Right? The lower the shot, the more you brush the upper part of the ball. Sometimes the opponent chops very low, right? Still, brush the top of the ball. Let me show you. No spin. See, I'm doing fast loops all the time. Keep feeding me shot. I won't loop like this. I won't loop like that. If I see it's no spin, I'll loop like this. Like this. See? The shot will never go out, only occasionally into the net. If he chops a no-spin shot and you loop it into the net, he'll struggle. If he chops a no-spin shot and you loop it out, and he chops a spin shot and you loop it into the net, that's his favorite scenario. Very good. Right? Exactly. It's all about countering. You can judge now. If you can't tell whether it's a spin or no spin shot, as long as you can tell, no matter how high or low it is, loop the no spin shot. I will always choose to brush it. Rather than hitting it too hard, rip the spin shot instead. For example, if the shot comes from a short pips chop, and you can't tell the spin, just push. If it's clear that it's no spin, loop the top of the shot. If it's spin, loop the upper middle of the shot. Never rip a no-spin shot. And don't slow loop a spin shot. How does that feel? Try ripping one. This feels much better. Don't brush the spin shot. And don't rip the no-spin shot. Otherwise, one shot goes out and the next goes into the net. Apply friction. Loop the top of the shot. Almost horizontal. Apply friction. Try it. Yes. Yes, apply friction to the top of the shot. Just like a counter loop. This is how you loop a no-spin shot. Okay. If the ball is above the net, go for a rip. Good shot. That type of shot, go for a rip. When there's spin, you need to use your strength to counteract it. Exactly this way, you won't miss because of the spin. Definitely not. Any viewers using short pips? They must hate me. No secrets left at all. When I play against choppers, I always rip the spinny shots. Spinny shots are easier to rip. No spin shots are harder, especially when they're low. At this point, you need to lower your stance, loop the top of the shot. Just a graze and it'll go over. Sometimes you're tricked by low shots. The opponent chops a low, no spin shot, and you try to lift it forcefully. That's where you get caught. Here we're talking about short pips. Long pips, as long as they chop, can't produce no spin shots. They're all spinny shots. There's no way long pips can produce no spin shots, unless they're defending. If they push, then it's no spin. As long as you loop with spin, the shots chopped by long pips are always very spinny. But short pips, no spin shots, are really no spin. They just go straight. Sometimes the shots are very low. If you loop with too much force, the shot flies. With this kind of shot, I still use force, but I channel the force into friction. Short pips chopping fundamentals are definitely not as solid as long pips fundamentals. They rely more on variation. Jusai Hayek's chopping fundamentals, Matsushita. Players with good chopping basics like Shibuya Go often use long pips. If you see your opponent using short pips, they won't chop many shots. You need to ensure they can't generate spin when chopping. We serve this type of shot. TO counter short pips. Short pips can't push effectively. Just use your power and rip the shot. They'll never chop a spinny shot. But this doesn't apply to long pips. Long pips can chop, producing ghost spin shots. You may struggle without a strategy to handle short pips. Short pips are easier to play against. Why? Because they're predictable. Their push shots are similar to inverted rubbers. Long pips, however, have a scraping action. Long pips can also push. Jusei Hayek's long pips can generate spin when pushing. Short pips can't produce no spin shot while pushing unless they push this way. If they chop, the shot always has spin. So when is a shot spinless? When I chop and use slow loop, he creates stop spin. Then, if I chop hard, that shot becomes spinless, no spin at all. Against short pips, use 6 power when looping. They won't be able to chop a spinny shot. Their hand will be overwhelmed. They didn't have time. If you slow loop, they can chop and vary spin levels. A slight hesitation can lead to mistakes. The ball is very sensitive. When there's no spin, ripping becomes tricky. Why do errors happen? Because during a rip, the ball spends less time on the racket. It leaves the racket too quickly. Extend the contact time slightly. Yes, that's it. Loop the top of the ball. Even for no spin shots, aim for the top. No matter how low the ball is, don't overthink if the ball hits the net. That was good. Do you prefer playing against long pips or short pips? Long pips are harder due to their stronger spin generation. When the opponent steps back and chops the ball, the spin becomes very strong. Only near the table. Sometimes, perhaps, I think the opponent can't produce spin-heavy shots. Near the table, the shots are usually spinless. If you serve a long shot and the opponent touches it, it's half spin or no spin. If you apply force and loop it, the returns are fully spinny. With short pips, it's primarily these spinless shots. They slightly disrupt your rhythm and touch. But spinless doesn't matter. Just loop it. If it's spinless, you don't have to loop hard. Just touch it lightly and send it back. Spin is actually quite simple. Don't think that just because the ball is low, you must apply heavy brushing. Brushing isn't wrong. Just brush the top of the ball. For these types of shots, in matches, when you see a low ball, you instinctively want to lift it hard. These balls aren't suitable for power loops, but you can brush lightly without much force. Engage in a rally. Force the opponent to chop a spinny ball. Once they chop a spinny ball, you power loop it. Very good. The opponent can't chop less spin or lower than I can. They can't keep it lower than mine. But when they make a move, you might feel nervous. Why don't male players use long pips? They can't compete. Long pips can't beat inverted rubbers. Why are there so few choppers nowadays? So hard for them to win. Actually, when I was your age, I struggled against choppers too. Couldn't find the right strategies. I'd get impatient and rip wildly. Eventually, I came up with one method. I'd only rip one certain shot. Rip spinny shots. How to rip such shots? Come here. No way to rip. Which of these two shots is more powerful? Same power. Which is easier to rip? The second one, of course. So how to rip this shot? But back when I was your age, I used to love rip spinless shots. I thought spinless ones were easy. Everyone thinks spinless is easy. That's wrong. That's why you struggle against choppers. I've heard many choppers compete in youth championships. Several make it to the top 8, right? Young players don't know how to handle choppers. They all think looping spinless balls is easy. Actually, it's the opposite. By joining my membership, you can watch more than 10 videos in advance and access 30 professional tutorial videos by Fangbo. These videos cover everything from beginner basics to advanced techniques.
Because it's possible for him to push it to your forehand area,
ensuring you'll find the skills you need. The cost ranges from $1 to $3, depending on your region. Thank you all for your support.